Welcome to the Principal Podcast, where we talk about how the best professional services firms grow. Whether you're looking to scale your firm or learn from the stories of founders and leaders who've done it, you're in the right place. Join us as we interview the best leaders in professional services. Let's get on with the show. Andrea, welcome to the Principal Podcast. Happy to have you.
I'm so glad to be here.
It is my pleasure. Let's jump straight into it. What got you into the fantastic, yet sometimes a bit stressful world of consulting and leadership development?
Well, I'm just too much of a control freak. I like to have my own thing. Yeah, I mean, my whole life I have been someone who pushes the envelope and is willing to try things. I mean, I'm like a serial entrepreneur. I naturally have this why not attitude. If it doesn't work, you can just try something else. And so, I started with the psychology degree. I have an undergrad psychology degree and then a master's in human resource development. So very quickly got into human resources out of graduate school and loved it, learned a lot, had an opportunity. I worked for a firm in London. So I had an opportunity right out of graduate school to get exposed to global leadership and organizations and culture but realized really quickly, like I want to do my own thing. So I worked for 2 consulting businesses before launching Abundant Empowerment in 2024. So I'm like 2 years in as an owner founder, but have, 15 years of consulting experience that really prepared me for that. And I've always known that. In 2007, I bought the domain name for Abundant Empowerment because I knew that was what I wanted to do.
Did you get some requests from people to buy the domain in the meantime?
I have not. I mean, Abundant Empowerment is a mouthful. I don't think anybody else can get that on.
Fair enough, but at least it was secure. Good move.
It was secure. Yeah, GoDaddy. Remember GoDaddy.com?
I do. Yeah.
Like back in the day. Yeah, I'm so glad I did that. So I had a vision and it took me some time to get there, but now we're here and we're fucking killing it and having a lot of fun.
What made you take the leap though?
What made me take the leap? Well, I always knew I was going to do that. So the consulting firm that I was leading from 2017 to 2024 was owned by a guy in Chicago, and he told me when he brought me in, hey, I want you to grow the business, like focus on top line. I will comp you well. And he did. But our goal is to grow the business so that we can sell it.
Yeah.
And as we had success, because we had tremendous success, we doubled revenue twice in those 7 years. And so, 5 years in, we started talking about like, what does this look like? What is sustainable? I'm like, I don't want to work for anybody else. Like, let me buy the business. But we could never reach an agreement. We had lots of conversations. We had evaluations done and just could not align. And so ultimately we both decided like, let's just part ways. And there were some challenges with that because I really built a very strong client base with that organization. But ultimately, it was more important to me to bet on myself and the expertise at that point and the passion and the knowing, like, I can do this. I've done it before. So, yeah, I took the leap and have never looked back. I wish I'd done it a lot sooner.
It's so funny how this is often, looking in retrospect, what we end up saying. I'm asking you because that's a huge thing for me lately. Talking to more and more professional service firms, being in that space, I see a lot of consultants, coaches, executive search, like you name it, being rewarded for getting it right and getting it perfect. That's what a consultant is. You have a very deep expertise in a niche and you're recognized as an authority and you get paid usually lots of money to give that expertise. But when it comes to experimenting, taking a leap, doing something risky, should I say, doing something uncertain is hard and makes people not make a decision. So I was like, you're comfortable, you're doing it, you have the plus of the consulting without the dread of having your own firm. And yet you take the leap of launching your own. So it was interesting to see how you arrived to this. I like
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I definitely left, a lot of stability and comfort. I didn't have to worry about paying the staff. I didn't have to worry about employee benefits. I didn't have to worry about all the back end administrative headaches of owning a business. But all of that is so worth it, and all of that stuff works itself out. That's been my experience anyways. You just hire people to do that for you.
How big of an empire do you want to build, Andrea?
Gosh, the sky is the limit. So I wrote in 2007 when I bought the domain name to Abundant Empowerment. I
Yeah.
was how old would I been in 2007? Like late 20s, I guess. I knew I wanted my own consulting business. I was working in a leadership consultancy that I loved and was growing, but I just knew, knowing me and my personality, like I want to be captaining the ship. Like that's just who I am. I like being in charge. I don't like being told what to do. I have a lot of confidence naturally. And so I created a vision. Literally like wrote down, what do I want in 2017? And I dreamed up Abundant Empowerment, this consulting business, and the name is very purposeful. It's a mouthful and it makes for a painfully long email address, but it's purposeful. I mean, it really is empowerment and potential within every single human. So it is abundant. It also is the mindset I have. I have a lot of, I know I'm getting off on a tangent here, but let me just go with it. Is that okay?
That's the whole point. That's why we are doing this, Andrea.
So I have a lot of people that because I've been in the leadership development, executive coaching space now for a long time, right? 20 years. And people ask like, gosh, everybody's hanging up a shingle and everybody's calling themselves a consultant. And yes, they are, because the world is ready for it. Like when I started doing this work 25 plus years ago, like I really had to make the case for leader development. Not anymore. Look at the research and the natural ROI that goes along with this work. I mean, it's just so much more prevalent. There's a lot more stories. And so of course, more people are wanting to do it. For me, like the more the merrier, because the more people that are doing this work, I think every single leader needs a coach. Every single organization could use an external leadership strategist to help them. So I love what's happening in the space and I'm really excited. But back to your question. So 2007, I had this vision of having this abundant space for everyone to connect to more of who they already are. And so I wrote, like, I will operate globally. I will have 10,000 team members all over the world. And yeah, so I don't know. And I don't know what that is. I'm not tied to that. I mean, we have so many partners and tentacles and in the ways in which we work with people all over the world. So, I'm not counting up team members. It is about impacting as many humans as we can. So so I don't know. I don't know how big the empire is. I just know that I'm showing up every day, trusting life, continuing to trust myself and challenge myself to do as much as we can.
I like that. What is the problem that you help people solve today? What is it that you're helping them achieve
I
exactly?
think, well, I mean, what I would say in the like meeting the clients, I mean, what organization isn't trying to retain its top talent? So that certainly is one. Also, develop top talent, help people evolve quickly to the changing demands of an organization. But across all of it, really what it is about untapping potential, latent potential. So our mantra at Abundant Empowerment is equipping leaders to be more of who they already are. Because think about the potential that exists that's hiding underneath the bureaucracy, the annoyance, the stupid shit we do with inside organizations that waste energy, right? We want to unlock that for the better of all. I mean, it's also a systems approach because you can't you can't impact the leader without impacting the team and impacting the organization. It is all connected. And at the intersection of leader, team, org is this sacred space. And that is your culture. So it's important to have that systems mindset. That's another approach we take with our clients.
Who is it that you help specifically? Leaders,
Mhm.
I guess. What type? What organization? What company size? What niche? What's the
It
first stone of the building of your empire, Andrea?
it is a great question. And what
Thank
I
you.
have always learned through consulting is focus equals growth. The more narrow I have been in consulting, the more growth I have seen. And yet, 2 years into abundant empowerment, we are still
Mhm.
trying to figure out what that narrow focus is. There are 3 brands that we have. For right now, that is our focus. So we have a podcast that is a client source generator. We're connecting with potential clients through our leadership podcast. We have the consulting work that I've been describing. And we also have a community for solopreneurs, coaches, and consultants called Collab. So right now, there's really 3 things that we're building that are a part of the current empire. If we talk about just the consulting work, so the podcast and the collab, the audience for that is very specific. So that's where I've got focus. With the consulting, it's what's challenging for me right now is the value that we bring is really relevant to any organization in any industry. We work primarily with organizations who are more mature and have a foundation that we can build upon. But aside from that, like it is across multiple industries and different types of businesses.
Why do you think focusing on the niche and going narrow stimulates growth?
I think it's your differentiator. I think it's a marketing play, and I also think it's an like operations play because you can get really, really good at that. And then you have lots of stories to describe that. Right now, we're in the sales process for a global manufacturer. And as we have gotten further in the sales process, I do believe that we will get this contract. It's a huge multi-year contract. But the more we get into sales, they're asking very specific questions about the types of businesses we've worked with. And they want to hear stories and cases because they're making a huge investment and they want proof that it works. So if I had I think we'll get the sell. But if I had specific stories of organizations exactly like theirs, it would help. I have stories, but they're not organizations exactly like theirs. Like that's where I think that niche focus can be so helpful.
This is so good. I say this to whoever wants to hear it, but it's so much more powerful. I feel when consultants walking the path are saying this, Andrea. So thank you very much. I mean, I'll just piggyback on what you said. The analogy that I often use is, I get it, especially in leadership development. People are people, and
Yes.
they will behave and act and interact more or less the same way, regardless of whether you're looking at a manufacturing company or at a financial services. I get it. Case made. I agree. They don't,
They
in the
don't.
sense of, if they have to choose between a consultant who's done it for a gazillion different industries, but they don't have someone that the prospect can relate to, they are less likely to close the deal than if they are looking at a consultant who's done it with a gazillion people of their very same profile. And
100%. But when you're early stage, 2 to 5 years in, you may not have a gazillion stories, right?
100%.
And I think you're still exploring who you are and what you love to do and what you are best at.
Yeah.
So that's where we are right now, working our way towards focus. Because I agree with you. That's been my experience also.
Mhm.
Focus equals growth every single time.
So, I mean, again, 100%. And the analogy is not even an analogy, it's a reality. Like when you start, um, hell, you take anybody with a Pulse and a credit card, and Pulse is optional, because
Yeah.
you're starting out and you're trying to figure things out. I agree with you. Um,
But then you get stuck doing work that you do not want to do, right? And so I think there's got to be a discipline then of like, okay, this is not what I want to do. I am not the best one at this. So who
mhm.
can I partner with to refer this work off? In saying no, I mean, I think there's so much respect that comes from, hey, like we are not the best at this. Here's what we are really good at. I have seen that they come back when they're ready for that, because that saying no. But you also have to have a bigger yes in order to say no. So working your way to that point of like, what is our value prop?
Yeah.
Who are the clients that are going to get the most value from us, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're working towards.
Absolutely true. And I think the reward of this is being able to charge a premium as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you say, hey, we offer leadership development to
Right.
everyone versus we only focus on, and I don't know if this is your case, but like we only focus on VPs and above within financial institutions with at least 500 employees,
Right.
you're saying no to 99% of the market, but all of a sudden, those financial institutions with 500 employees and some VPs who need leadership training, they're like, those are my guys.
Want to
And
work
they,
with you. Yeah.
right.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Great
love
point.
this. I think this is going to be a great snippet. Um, Tell me more about your marketing, Andrea. So, how do you think about whilst you're actually figuring out the focus and the niche,
Yeah.
already getting some good growth and good wins, obviously, what has worked for you to build that brand, build that authority, attract people interested in your services? I'm not talking about sales just yet.
Yeah.
Really, just top and middle of funnel with the mouthful, but yet very on point, abundance empowerment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ours is a relationship business. So it is all about the relationship. I mean, that is how work comes to us. We worked with you previously. I mean, every single week someone will reach out just because now I've been doing this for so long across lots of different organizations. I was at Ascension 10 years ago, and now I'm here and we want to talk with you about equipping our leaders. I was at MasterCard and now I'm at Bloomberg. I mean, so that is our number one source of marketing, is just those relationships. But and I mean that's I mean, I guess that's not marketing, that's sales, isn't it? Because there's just old relationships that are driving those. Yeah, I mean, it's really, I mean, it's LinkedIn. I guess the short answer is we have not done a lot of proactive outbound marketing.
Mhm.
We use LinkedIn. We speak at conferences. We use our podcast to connect with potential prospects.
Tell me more.
There's not more to tell.
Um,
It's
okay,
really
so
that. So it's exciting for me just thinking about, we have exceeded revenue targets the last 2 years. We're 100. Just this morning, we were talking as a team. Here we are, July of 2026. We're 121%
mhm,
to last year's revenue. So clearly something is working.
pretty solid.
Imagine if we market on purpose. Imagine if we can unlock that niche,
Mhm.
that specific
So,
group. That's where my head is right now.
and I like it. I mean, I'm yet to see a professional service firm. Again, I'm not saying this is your case. I'm just saying as an example, but I'm yet to see a professional service firm charging high five, six figures, seven figures for their services, who closes deals without building relationships first. I'm yet
Right.
to see it. And
Yeah.
by the way, if you're listening to this right now and you sign deals without talking to someone, call me. I'm going to offer you a lot of money for you to teach me that.
No, it doesn't
So,
happen. Yeah.
right, we are in the, which is funny because in the day and age of AI, we are still in a relationship based business. The question
We are.
becomes, how do we build those relationships that yield results?
Yeah.
The Tell Me More was around your podcast, Andrea. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
use this podcast as a way to put the spotlight on the guests. Obviously, I believe in podcasts, but I don't claim it too much on this show. When a guest has a podcast and uses it properly, though, I jump on the
Yeah.
occasion.
Yeah.
So why the podcast? Why 1,700 episodes in five
Yeah.
years? What is happening here, and how do you
Yeah.
make it work for your consulting practice?
Well, I mean, I think it takes like I love it. I am a better human because I'm a podcaster. I think I ask better questions. I think I
Love it.
listen more deeply. So, I mean, selfishly, it is my own leadership growth that is really kept me going in this. So we have 2 guest episodes a month. So we launched in 2019. We're at like 250 guests as of today, 7 years later. And a lot of our guests have been clients. A lot of guests have evolved into clients. And so if we identify an organization that we want to work with, or there's an organization we want to highlight, like we'll look to who can we invite onto the show as a way to create that connection. And that has been helpful for us, for sure.
You mean using a channel to build relationships has been useful to your consulting firm,
Yes,
Andrea?
it has.
Love it. You do something else though. You also do daily doses.
I do.
What
Every
is that?
single weekday. So we launched in 2019,
Yeah.
and then we all know what happened in 2020. My producer, knowing me, and
Uh-huh.
I like to lift up, encourage. I also like to remind people of their agency. I like to remind
Hmm.
them, like, you have a lot more power than you think you do. So my producer said, "Hey, you might want to," because I started putting out these little videos around COVID just to encourage and inspire. And my producer said, "Why not put those on the podcast feed?" And so I did. And so it has just continued. And so every single weekday, I release a daily dose of leadership. And they're short, they're 2 to 5 minutes, but they have grown like crazy. People share them with their teams. We can use them as a part of our leadership development programming. So they serve multiple purposes.
Love that. Talk to me about how you tie all this to a conversation, a sales conversation, an SOW, a letter of engagement. We rock and roll. How do you move from
Yeah.
relationships, brands, 2 to 5 minutes podcast episodes to eventually a closed deal?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it always starts with what's happening with you. What's the pain? What's the challenge? What are you trying to unlock in your business? Like that's always where it starts. And then we'll come back to them. So a lot of leadership development traditionally is very generic, and personalization is one of our core values, because all of the systems that we build and the structure that we build within our clients are very personalized to them. And so we'll come back to them then with, based on what we heard and the opportunity that you highlighted and your vision and what's important to you, here's how we can partner. And that meeting we call the fingerprints meeting, because we want to co-create it with them. And so we get their fingerprints on it to help build it out so that they own it, so that it's not our solution, it's their solution. Because a lot of times we're working with internal HR or a chief operating officer or someone who will be sharing it internally with a group of people. Yeah, like this, I'll just give you an example. This global manufacturer that I mentioned to you. So the head of talent has been our primary contact. And so they've presented it to the board, they've presented it to their chief operating officer. And I, of course, like, how can I help? And I'd love to meet her and I'd love to get in those meetings with you. But one advantage at this point of the process, like that internal team, like they are so fired up and so passionate because they've been pushing it forward in the organization. So it's a longer sales cycle, but the ownership is huge. And then all of that, like then the work that we're actually doing to equip leaders to be more of who they already are,
Mhm.
the podcast episodes reinforce all of that. So I view the podcast as an extension of the
Mhm.
development that we're doing.
Mm. What happens afterwards? So you come in, you help the leaders be the version of themselves that they are already. that they already are, I think is how you phrased
More,
it at the beginning.
more of who you
Mm.
already are.
Thank you. More of who they already are. And then what? How do you
Yeah,
help them solve the next problem
the
and the
sus-
next problem or
the
the next
sustainability. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, well, again, it's personalized. So every client, like the now what is going to look different. But we do, I mean, I think, we do that well. We build into every proposal and all the conversations. We're always asking about the infrastructure, the who's leading it going forward. What does sustainability look like? Yeah, because it's an investment. It is a significant investment. And our reputation, our brand is built around it being really meaningful to the business. We frame it as operationalizing the work that we do. So it's not about us, it's about creating the structure and the system for it to live on beyond the development process that we're leading.
I like your style, Andrea.
Operationalizing it. That's how you do it. And that's hard. It takes work.
It is always much more time and investment than we think it is. But eventually, if it's done well, you grow, which is, I guess,
Yes.
the point. And you help more people, which is the ultimate goal.
Abundant empowerment.
Oh, she did it. What a good name drop. Um, I like your style, so I'm gonna
What
throw a little
what do
bit
you
of.
mean? Like what's my style? What
I
is it?
like I like how you think about marketing.
Mm,
I like how realistic you are around the fact that it is sales and this is necessary. But if you do it rightfully, ethically, you are actually building relationships that might end up in business, might not. The point is, you help people along the way,
yeah.
and you have a sales and retention process that allows you to continuously build trust, I
Yeah.
think, with your clients, which is why they sign, which is why they stay, and which is why they refer you back to the word of mouth and referral.
Right.
That's what I mean with I like your style.
Oh, good. Thank you for
Um,
affirming that. Yeah, because
of
I
course,
I often feel like I have no idea what I'm doing from a
none of us
marketing
do.
standpoint.
None of us
No
does.
idea.
No, no, none of us has any idea of what we are doing, but we're still
Ever.
trying.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Right.
eventually, step by step, we figure it out. Um, so let me ask you this: what is your number one challenge right now, Andrea? What is the one nut that you're trying to crack that you know
It,
once you crack?
it's what I said earlier. I mean, I feel, and even as I was talking through that, I could feel the tension inside of me. Like, what is our focus? That
Mm,
is the tension that I feel right now.
mm.
Because that would be so helpful to name that from a marketing perspective, to be able to say, we only work with vice presidents and above in financial organizations with 500 people or more. I mean, gosh, that just think about the freedom that comes in that. But it's hard. But I always go back to like, I don't want to limit it. Abundant empowerment is meant for everyone. Which is why these brands, right? Which is why we have these brands. Because so I'll go back to Collab. Collab is a community for solopreneurs, coaches, and consultants. So we know the audience, right? Being at work, the guests are heads of HR, CEOs, like narrow, narrower.
How are you thinking about solving that challenge? Obviously, you don't have the answers, right? And I'm not asking you to answer the challenge. The thing is, I know for a fact that, I mean, I've talked to about 500 consultants over the last 2 years.
Yeah,
90% of them will answer, oh, we are industry agnostic. Some of them know that they should be more focused and more narrow. Some
yeah,
of them don't even realize it yet, and maybe never will, and it's okay. I mean, it all depends on the
right.
goal and what you want to
You
achieve.
got it. Yeah.
There is not a gap to bridge for everyone, but I know this is something that the audience will find valuable. So, how are you thinking about figuring out this focus, this narrowing down? How are you thinking about it?
Time. Seeing
True.
seeing what happens over the next year.
Hmm.
I mentioned this large global manufacturer. We have another opportunity that's just popped up. with a global manufacturer. So,
Here we
I
go.
mean, yeah, exactly.
Mm.
So I think it's just really paying attention to. And I mean, we have the processes and the infrastructure to serve both of those clients really, really well. So, these, and what I love about that is they're large, multi-year contracts that lend themselves to the sustainability that you asked me about. The one-off, like, oh, can you do this 4-hour workshop for our team? Like, no, I don't want to do that. That is like, why would we waste our time doing that? So we have lots of partners. Let me refer you to. So it's happening. I think it's just giving it a little more time. Keeping our eye on the ball.
I like that.
And challenging myself,
Mhm.
because there's something about, like, do we just want to work with global manufacturers? I don't know.
So again, for the people listening to us, thinking about this, my 2 cents on it, we went through this exercise. Like everyone, we haven't figured it out fully yet, but we are working towards this. And that's advice from my mentor, actually. So that's not even for me. But it is, look at, over the last 5 years, however many years you're in business, who are your top 20% clients? As in, who are the clients that got the best results from your services?
Right.
Which will often translate into the clients that had the best stickiness with you, because if they are getting results, they tend to stick. And if not, it doesn't matter who had the best results. And then the question is, and that's something we figured out as we grew as well, the higher up we go in the food chain in terms of who we serve, the least people are sensitive to price, still important, but the least they are sensitive to price, and the
Yeah.
more they are sensitive to risk.
Yeah.
And the best way you can decrease their perceived risk is by showing them results that you got for people like them who
Yeah.
are facing the same problem and the type of results that they achieved thanks to you.
Hmm.
You want to reduce uncertainty, which will allow you to charge much more, back to our early conversation. And the question I sometimes ask people is, if you were to focus all the efforts that you're putting right now into trying to reach everyone, if you were to put all this energy into trying to reach out or build content or advertise to global manufacturers only,
Yeah.
how much more could you do with them? Hopefully that helps a bit, to get more of an idea of how to narrow down. That's how we think about it, and that's what we try to do.
Yeah.
Um,
It's very
on
helpful.
on the other side of the coin, Andrea, what's a big opportunity that you see in your space that you're excited to work on?
I think the world is ready for leadership development in a way it never has been. Leaders are stressed.
Why is
Humans are
that?
stressed.
True. Why do you
Yeah.
think it's more ready now than ever?
Yeah, because organizations are feeling the pain and they don't know what to do. And people are asking for help and development, and
Mhm.
organizations don't know what to do. And all of the research that's been done over the last few years around the impact of creating space for leaders. I think all of those reasons.
Andrea Butcher, ladies and gentlemen. Andrea, this was an absolute blast.
Yeah, it was
If
so
people,
much fun.
thank you. If people want to find out more about you, see what you do,
Yeah.
enter into their new era of abundance empowerment, where
Yeah.
should they go?
Well, abundantempowerment.com would be a place where you could definitely learn a lot more about us. You could also follow me on LinkedIn. I spend a lot of time there and put out a lot of content on LinkedIn. And then Being at Work is our leadership podcast. So check that out. We have 800,000 global listeners, and the show continues to grow. So check it out.
We will put all the links in the description. For what I'm concerned, you've gained at least one new connection on LinkedIn out of this interview. Me, I've just added you, Andrea.
And for
Thank you.
that, I'm grateful.
Thank you so much for coming on the Principal Podcast.
Thank you so much for hosting me. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Principal Podcast. We hope you've learned valuable lessons and strategies to grow your firm and take your business to the next level. Make sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you're listening to this show so you never miss an episode. To apply and be a guest on the show, click the link in the description. See you next time.